Hey y'all, Elizabeth here at the farmstead, joined by Noah and Shane. Today is move out day for this group of turkeys out of the brooder room and out onto pasture. So I thought I'd take a little bit of time to explain our brooder room to you guys and why we use what are called brooder towers opposed to another way of using brooders. So a brooder is where you are going to raise chicks. They are very delicate. They require a lot of care. When they come in, and we've got another group of meat chicks coming in next week. So in a few days, I'll record that so you can see them coming in as babies. Uh-oh, loose guy flew the coop. So I'll show you guys a move-in day as we're doing a move-out day today and why we chose these brooder stages. We actually have two. I don't think you can see the first one in this shot, but so it's a tower. Back in the day when we first started raising birds, we used troughs, like cattle troughs, horse troughs, filled them with shavings, put the birds in them, put a heat lamp over it, added a water and a feeder in there, but we could only grow so many, and we outgrew that very quickly as our operation outgrew. One of the problems we had with the trough system was the dust from the shavings. Even when we used a like a no dust or a low dust shavings, it was still really dusty, and the birds would get it piled up in their beaks and their noses. And we had health problems with that. So we wanted to eliminate the shavings, and we did not have the infrastructure to go out. We didn't have a big enough room to go out with a bazillion troughs. And we stumbled upon a farmer friend of ours was using these, and they loved them and raved about them. It's actually 5 different brooders that are just attached to one another on top of each other to make the tower. So these are like 5 individual rooms for the birds. They don't get to each other from the top or the bottom. Their poop pans come out from the bottom, so they're actually sitting on a poultry-friendly wire. So we've had better health in the feet, actually, because they're not in shavings, possibly having allergic reactions, and they're not sitting in their muck, even because they poop a lot. And no matter how much you clean those shavings, we just couldn't keep on top of it. So this way they're not sitting in their filth. It's falling below their feet to a tray. We can take that tray out, and we put it in our manure spreader, and we use it as fertilizer on our pastures. And so these are individual boxes. This is not one big thing, and they can all get to each other. Each one has its own temperature gauge, its own little heat bulbs. They have their own waters. They have their own feeders. They have 2 sets of feeders so they can spread out and all eat at once. They don't know why they're getting moved right now. They're going to be so excited. I'll show you where they're going here in just a second. We have had a much better improvement. We've had less losses in these birds, and we've had better health with them, which is really important to us, that they are healthy birds and that they're well taken care of. So the reason that they cannot come in as day-old chicks and go straight out to pasture is because when they are born, they're born with like this fluff. They aren't born with their feathers, and their feathers are what keep them warm and regulates their body temperatures. They can't regulate their own body temperatures when they come in as day-olds, and so they need to be in here for 3 to 4 weeks. It's hot outside, even at night, and so we can move them out. Baby chicks need to be at about 95 degrees for at least a first full week of their life, and then 90 degrees, and then 85 degrees, and then you can kind of move them out. Turkeys actually need it hotter. They need to start at 100 degrees. They need a lot of heat. And so it's really, really important that we are creating that environment for them. We're keeping them warm, we're keeping them fed, we're keeping them hydrated, and we're protecting them from the elements. So they're in this room, in these brooders. We're protecting them from the wind, and we're really, really, really protecting them from predators. Everything wants to eat baby chicks. So we have to be very careful with them. Good job, Caleb. Did you get one? Let me see him. Big white guy. Hi, buddy. Turkeys are so fun. What you up to? So you can see he's got a little bit of fuzz left here on his neck, but he has already begun to develop all his feathers. And those feathers are what are going to keep him insulated and warm if it were to get cool at night. Again, this is summertime. We're plenty hot here. Go ahead and take him out. He's going to be so excited to hit the grass. So 3 to 4 weeks in the brooder room, and then the rest of their life is outside in our pastures. We do daily intensive rotational grazing on all of our animals, so their coops are moving anywhere from 1 to 2 times a day, depending on what they are. So let's go on outside and I'll show you where they're being moved to. And in here in a few days, I'll show you a group of meat chicks coming in. All right, so our turkeys actually need to come right out of the brooder room and into this temp coop. They need to be a little bit bigger before we can move them all the way out into the pastures, into the fields, mainly because of predator issues. Even with our dogs, everything loves to eat turkey. And so we have found that if we can give them a little bit of time up here close to all the buildings where there's more human activity going on, deterring predators, by doing so, we're able to give them a little more safety and a little more grow out before they go fully out. Normally, like with meat birds, they're going to come out of the brooder and they're going to go straight out to pasture, to their big coops. This is 2 different kinds of turkeys. We have bronze and white breasted in there. So they're the same kind, they're the same breed. It's just that some are white and some are the bronze color. That's what you're seeing. Noah's got one here. Can you show me that bronze one, please? Hi, bud. You're so pretty. This is the bronze. They're my favorite. So you can still see he's got a little bit of fuzz going on here, but he has already got the most of his feathers, and so he is ready to go out. He's beautiful.
Good little one.
He's so sweet. So yeah, this is part of the process for us to create organic, soy and corn-free pasture-raised meats, is getting these guys from the brooder room out on grass and out to the pastures. I hope you've learned a little bit of something, and we will be back in a couple days to show you a group of meat chicks moving in. Hey guys, so we're back in the brooder room. It's been a couple of days since we moved the turkeys out, and now it's move-in day for the next group of meat chicks that we're going to be raising here. So Shane is filling up their water. So it's a bucket, and it gravity feeds through to each one. I'll spin you around and show you here in a second. And then he's gonna get their feeders on and get it filled up. Here comes Noah with the chicks. So these have just come in fresh from the hatchery, and they come in these boxes, and we've got a lot of boxes there's like 6 boxes, 6, 7, there's 10. Oh my word, there's 10 boxes of baby chicks in the big end of the big boxes here. And so they're gonna start unloading them into the brooders. Each brooder technically can hold like 100. We do about 50 since we have 2 brooder towers. There's one there and there's one there. If we don't have to, which most of the time we don't, we schedule while we don't have to pack a lot in here. We spread them out. He's gonna start with about 50 in each one, so they have plenty of room, plenty of space. He's already got their heaters on. That's a little blue light that you see in there, so it's already starting to heat up. Even though it's super hot outside, we gotta make sure it's really hot in here consistently through the day and the night. So even if it dips down into like the high 80s at night, we have to make sure that they are in the 90s, mid 90s, even at night. That's why they need to be in the brooder room. Even in the summer, they need to be in the brooder room so that we can keep their temperature consistent. Okay, so yeah, this is a gravity fed bucket. They fill that up all once or twice a day. The hose goes down and splits into each water tray, and you can see it trickling. These are little float valves so that they don't overflow. And so it'll keep it consistently filled up, and they'll have access to plenty of fresh water. The guys are adding an extra tray. Noah's got a tray there. He's filling it up of feed, and he's gonna put that inside each brooder, as well as they're gonna have 2 trays on the outside. They've just found that they need it. And they also put in, like that right there that Shane's got. He's putting in an extra water. So inside, he's gonna put in extra water. Just when they're little, sometimes they have a hard time finding it, making sure they have water access right away. All right, so what they're doing now before they move the chicks in is they're adjusting the head height of their water and feeder access. So because these guys are smaller, what was in here last was turkeys. We don't want them to actually slip through entirely and get into the trays from the inside. So he's just gonna adjust it. He does have to adjust these as they grow to make sure that they can easily get their heads through them and comfortably. So he's just lowering it to make sure that they stay safe and don't fall out. All right, here's some chicks. So this is our second time raising these Pioneer chicks by Meyer Hatchery. They are 3-breed cross. They have the naked neck breed in them, which is so their necks are gonna intentionally be that way without feathers. But they look good. Hi guys. Hi, come here. Oh, hi. Aren't you something? So cute. So there's like nearly 350 of these birds that we've got to unload. There's more in the car. And Noah has been loading chicks in brooders for years now, huh?
Yes, I have.
You've done this a lot, huh?
Yes, I have.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Good. Yep, so they got to count them as they put them in. So we have a head count, but in they go, and they get to start exploring. They get to find water and feed, which somebody's already standing on top of the feed and dipping their beaks in the water. So again, these guys will be in here for 3 to 4 weeks, probably just 3 weeks. With being as warm it is outside, we can probably move them out sooner. We just have to keep an eye on their feather development, make sure they have enough feathers to keep themselves warm. And then they'll get to spend the rest of their time out on pasture on green grass, which we love to see. So we got to put them in here because they are just covered in all of what I call their fluff. Their little fluffy feathers are not enough to keep them warm. So they got to develop their full feathers, and that takes about 3 to 4 weeks. And then they'll be able to keep themselves warm and be out on pasture. It's so interesting development here as we are unpacking. We were wondering why there were so many boxes because it just didn't seem quite right. What'd you find in there? Oh, we're not supposed to have any black chicks. No. They're adorable, but that is not what we ordered. So we read the shipping later. Apparently they're supposed to go to TSC, to Tractor Supply, and the post office gave them all to us. So, how many?
No, there's 4 boxes now. 4 boxes, not ours.
4 boxes that aren't ours. That's why I was like, oh, six is probably about ours. No, that's why we have 10 here. There shouldn't be 10. Those are ours. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. We'll keep you posted. All right, so we did figure out the mystery of the extra chicks. They are, in fact, not ours, and we're meant to go to Tractor Supply. The post office came and picked them up and are taking them there for them. So we don't have as many boxes as we thought we had, which is great. So all of ours are in the brooder. They are settled, they are warm, they are fed. Some of them are already sleeping. But yeah, this is the process for us, and the reason why we use these brooder towers, why brooders are important. And then our ultimate goal is that they get to spend their lives out on pasture and eat fresh grass and bugs and all the things. But the first few weeks, they really need to be cared for, closer attention, grow out those feathers, and get nice and healthy and big to be able to go outside. And these also are helpful in protecting them from predators too. And the coops we use are predator safer because everything wants to eat them. So thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. I hope you learned a little bit more about raising baby chicks and using brooders and why we use these brooder towers. So thanks for joining and have a great day.